Hey, I hope you're doing fine and taking care of yourself. My name is John. Welcome to yet another episode of this podcast. Have you guys read the book titled Who Moved My Cheese? I got this book, I think, 2, 3 weeks ago from my sister when we were sharing about life, mid of the year, 6 months into the year, how far, how are things going? Are they as we expected? How far with our resolutions? Yeah, so she mentioned that I should take some time and read it. So I remember at the end of the book, I was so itchy. I could not wait to come over here and share with you guys about the book. So the story behind the title Who Moved My Cheese is about two people. I'm going to use people in this case so that you easily get the message, yeah? It's different characters in the book, yeah? When you get to read through, you'll see. So there are two different people. So they live in a maze and both of them head out every day in search for cheese. So for easy identification, I'm going to name them Tom and Jerry. So Tom and Jerry head out every morning to look for cheese. So one eventful day, Tom successfully finds a whole lot of cheese to last him, let's say, 10 years. And Jerry finds just enough to get him through maybe a week or two. Yeah. So Tom comes back home very excited. He tells all his friends about it. He settles, of course, as in there's no reason for him to keep going and look for more because he had found just enough to last him through a long period of time. In the meantime, Jerry is still on his way to look for, ways to survive, cheese to eat every day or every other day to last him through a period of time. So Tom stays where he is and he tells all his friends about it, celebrates, sleeps, while on the other hand, Jerry is on the road looking for cheese every other day. So I think after some time, uh, Tom notices that the size of the cheese is reducing, but in that case, he's not like moved as much. So he stays, and then the next day he wakes up when his cheese is gone. Of course, he's frustrated. He starts asking, who moved my cheese? Did someone take it? He starts looking for all these possible reasons as to why his cheese could have been moved. So, of course, the story goes on. When you read the book, you'll notice that it continues, but I don't want to go deeper into the story than the message. So, today's episode is going to be among the key lessons that the author shares in this book about the title, Who Moved My Cheese? So, based on the title, Who Moved My Cheese, it's a metaphor for different people's ambitions. We all have different goals, dreams, things we work towards, yeah? So one can say, if I got all the money in the world, that would be it. That can be your cheese. Maybe power, maybe your career, maybe marriage or your business or school. It could be anything. In this context, everything you're working towards is your cheese. So the author challenges us that while in our pursuit for our cheese, while you're looking for that cheese, what happens when you wake up tomorrow and it's not there? What happens tomorrow and life turns out the way you didn't think it should? What happens if you don't get that job immediately after graduation, or if you don't get married as soon as you thought, or if you don't win in that race you're in, let's say for a political seat? What happens when you don't pass and finish your bachelor's degree in the 3 years you thought? Like, what happens when things don't go away? What happens when you wake up in the morning and you thought your cheese is in place A today and you woke up tomorrow and it's not there? So throughout the book, the author challenges us. What happens when things don't go away? What happens when change comes into the picture? So while I was reading the book, I wrote down a number of things that really stood out that I want us to have different conversations on throughout this episode. He says change happens by default. We all know that. We age every day, every new year. You make a year older. Time is moving even right now. I mean, we're in 2023. Yesterday it was only 2020 in COVID. Like by default, you can't help it. Change happens all the time. So we just have to anticipate it. He also adds that noticing small changes early helps you adapt, monitor change. Smell the cheese more often so you know when it's getting old. In this case, usually when we, let's say, arrive at a job or at a relationship, usually, because it's good, of course, you tend to get too comfortable. I mean, staying in the moment and staying present in the moment is a good thing, but at times as human beings we get too comfortable that you don't even notice when the environment around you is starting to change. In this case, if Tom had only taken some time to look around, maybe check has the size reduced since the time I got it, maybe he would have been in position to know that his cheese wasn't moved actually, it just got done. So as the story builds on, fear comes in the picture. Yeah, when you read the book, you'll notice how the story advances. So fear comes in the picture because we are, of course, afraid of change, afraid of the new environment that we are not used to because we're not flexible enough. We are simply afraid of the unknown, yeah, which is very normal and understandable and reasonable. So the author advises that there is always new cheese out there, whether we believe it or not. Therefore, when we change what we believe in, we get to change what we do. So most of the times we are held back by our beliefs. Yeah, you probably believe that what's out there is way scarier than where you are, or things are way worse. But then he poses a question: what would you do if you were not afraid? So to wrap it up, really, at the time I finished reading this book, I had several emotions. Some that really stood out for me are flexibility, letting life unfold for you. I mean, it's good to be intentional and have plans, but if something is not working in place A, be flexible enough to be willing and let go and try in place B. Who knows what it holds for you? Because I mean, I get it to be in one place for so long. Let's say to be at home, you get so comfortable in your own hometown or community, and the idea of leaving can be so scary. So, same even with habits and patterns and workplaces, people, relationships. It's always so hard to even imagine a different pathway. So, as much as fear is valid, it's not a reason to hold you back. Be flexible enough to read the room, to notice when your cheese is molding, to notice when it's reducing. Have the braveness to take a look at different opportunities that life holds for you, than sticking to the script that does not even matter in that case, because I believe there are so many people that are just stuck in the wrong spaces because they're either afraid of going, or they're afraid of change, or they have all these limiting beliefs that are holding them in that particular place. So while we're all on our journeys looking for cheese, I hope we notice when it's starting to mold, or when it's getting old, or when it's phasing out. I hope we are brave enough to go out there and, see what outside holds for us, because it's always better out there. As much as it's scary and uncomfortable at first because it's a new space, it's always better on the other side. Another thing that he mentioned that I think I forgot to add was new cheese doesn't necessarily have to be like a new workplace or a new car or a new country. Usually new cheese can be same workspace, new methods. You stay in the same workspace and devote new methods on how you are doing work. So take an example of a parent. If they're trying to raise a child, right, but they are probably doing it in some type of way that's not yielding off any difference. The new cheese here could be raising a child differently to see if it yields off anything different. So while I'm sharing these things here, I don't want you to think I am coming at you as in you. I am trying to talk to the other version of me. Like John, go out there, be brave. And I hope that these speak to you as well. I am in the same ship as you are. I am an learning and learning, folding and unfolding. I remember my sister mentioning that, man, let go. I mean, you may have a script that you want to do this at this particular time. Like, we all don't have this thing figured out. So while you're searching for whatever your jackpot is, for whatever your cheese is, be flexible and let loose enough. And please don't forget to involve God in whatever you are pursuing in your life. Yeah. At the end of the day, no one moved your chase. Maybe it's just perspective and how you're looking at things. Maybe you losing your job is not the worst thing that could happen to you. Maybe you relocating to a different country is not the worst that could happen to you. Maybe that relationship that just ended is the best thing that is happening to you right now. Like, every situation we are in right now is all perspective, really. No one moved your cheese. You're just looking in the wrong place. I appreciate you taking the time to listen into this episode until the very end. And if you need an e-copy of Who Moved My Cheese, please don't hesitate to reach out and send a DM. I do not mind sending you a copy. Until next time, thank you. Bye.